Okay, so now we're going to continue our discussion about the lesson 6, which is the effective communication skill. Last time we have talked about the barriers to effective communication, again, which are the judging the other person, not paying attention to the person you are talking to, using technical language, giving solutions or unwanted advice, and the avoiding concerns of the others. Let's now move on to the effective communication skills. These are the skills that we can nurture and develop to effective communication. So we have the first one, which is the active listening. So I'm going to explain at the same time the active listening and the nonverbal communication because they are interrelated to each other. So some ways to actively listen include as a speaker, okay? We have to talk about first as a speaker. Listen twice as much as you speak. So we have to listen also to ourselves while delivering our message so that we could understand well what really is our message. Then we have to listen also with our whole body. So here it enters the nonverbal communication. Active listening also includes the nonverbal communication because sometimes you can be unaware of the messages you are sending nonverbally. So, body language or nonverbal communication is an art that has the potential to say a lot and can be applied in any number of situations. So, as a speaker, we have to be aware of our nonverbal communication. So these are the examples or the factors that we have to consider to be a speaker. First, standing up straight and adopting a proper posture suggests that you are confident and comfortable to deliver a speech or any information. So, as a speaker, we have to look as confident as we can. Okay, we have to have the proper posture so that our audience can rely to us or they are confident that we will have a good message for them. Because here, all good orators understand that how you say something is just as important as what you say. Okay? So many speakers believe that it's important to know what to say, but it's also important that we know how we say our message. Okay? So that is being a speaker. We have to listen also to our verbal communication and also to our non-verbal communication. So here, as the listener, also it's very essential that when you are speaking to someone, okay, for example, when you are at the job interview, always maintain an eye contact. Looking out of the window or at the floor suggests that you either don't really believe what you're saying or that you are not interested at all with that job. Right? So it's very essential for us to have an eye contact to someone that we are talking to. So here in active listening, we have to remember that we don't just pay attention to how our own body language is coming across. Either try to read the other person's or our audience. So somebody might be telling us that they agree with us. They agree with us out loud. But if they are avoiding eye contact, it says that they actually might not. Okay, remember that. Human beings subconsciously, okay, we are subconsciously rely on nonverbal communication in their interactions. So never forget to read and speak between the lines, right? So we have to be aware in active listening. We have to be aware of the verbal communication or our words that we are delivering through our mouth or through our voice, or it could be in written, okay? And also we have to be aware of our non-verbal communication. So be alert and interested also in other person in active listening. Refrain from interrupting and reflecting back what you have heard. So when you are interrupting and reflecting back, okay, while the speaker is still speaking, that could lead us to ineffective communication. So I have here also the quotation from Ralph Nichols. Okay, some details about Ralph Nichols. So he was a man for and of his times. He was a man of vision and integrity. He was the herald for a major shift in thinking and action in human communication. When we say herald, that person is a messenger, especially one bringing important news about something. Okay, so Ralph Nichols brings something important about the human communication. He, like no one else in his era, championed the importance of listening. So he has a big part in terms of communication and listening. So here is his quotation. The most basic of all human needs is the need to understand and be understood. The best way to understand people is to listen to them. This is very accurate in terms of communication. It says here that because communication is very essential in our daily life, so it's better for us to understand and to be understood, okay? And to be understand or to be understood, people has to listen to each other. Okay, listening is very important in terms of effective communication. So uh, that is what we call the active listening and nonverbal communication. Okay, number three, we have the asking question. So when you are in conversation with someone, asking questions it shows you are interested in them, of course. If we are really interested and we are really listening to someone who is speaking, there could be something that will pop up on our mind. Okay? So there are three types, okay? No, I have here four actually. So there are many types of questions you can ask, including, okay, the first one is the open-ended question. So when we say open-ended question, these are questions that start with what and how, right? And in this question, the our higher thinking ability enters. Okay, so you have to think of the questions that start with what and how. So those are what we call the open-ended question. Also, we have the second one, the closed-ended question. When we say closed-ended question, these are the questions that start with did, do, would, will, should, could, have, must, is, or are. Okay? So in English language,